forefathers came. Waged and fought through victory and pain. By test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we're
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues trending. But most of all, you can introduce your own topic at all times, and we will discuss it. Our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, Real FM, YouTube, and also Sister Radio in Carrico. The number to call is 442-0175. And we will read some of your posts that you have on YouTube and WhatsApp and Facebook. We are confident. We believe that Grenada is well poised for takeoff. We have grown by leaps and bounds, and we are able to address the challenges that we have in this world. We have to have confidence in ourselves. And I think the biggest challenge facing us is confidence. We need some form of mentality change in attitude. And a number of our progressive forces, they are not convinced that Grenadians are capable of addressing the challenges they are faced with. That is why you hear a number of people saying we have not achieved anything post the revolution or post 95, post something. Grenada has gone by leaps and bounds over the years. It is quite true, to some people they have made no changes because they always have things on a silver platter. And they still have it on a silver platter. So as far as they're concerned, there are no changes to be made. But if they had the experience of the majority of people in our country, they would have speak and think different. And that's what's important, for us to convince our children and the younger people in the community that they have all what is needed to propel this country forward, to make giant leaps. Their forefathers have made immense sacrifice. They have shed their blood, their tears, and their toil to put Grenada on the platform that it is, that we can be extremely competitive in any position in the world. Why do I say that? Today in Grenada, and over the last 5 years, electricity, telephone, water, and internet, we have a 90% of our people have access to these facilities. We have one of the best network of roads in the region, and the quality of the roads is relatively good or comparable. Now, some people talk about roads in America and roads in England. And I always like to challenge our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to find out if the roads in New York and the roads in London and Frankfurt, if you do not have potholes. We have challenges, but our people must understand that there is greener pastures in Grenada. There are greener pastures in Grenada. Don't ever dare believe that you have to go away to get greener pastures. One of the important things that we have to understand in Grenada, that Grenada have the most landowners in the Caribbean, in the region, and I would not be surprised if it is in the world. Some of the things that was done by Grenadian politicians, that decision was not taken in Africa. Today in Africa, one of the biggest issues is land. The majority of people do not have access to land. I believe less than 10% of the population in Africa owns much more than 50% of the land. In Grenada, more than 1/3 of the population own lands. In the last 10, 12 years, we doubled the amount of vehicles that we have in Grenada. When you go to a school today, compare it with yesteryear, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 20% of the teachers that go to school, they drive themselves to school. They have their own transport. 20, 25 years ago, perhaps only the principal that had a vehicle. Perhaps only the principal that had a vehicle, and 1 or 2 students used to come to with vehicle. In GBSS in St. George's, we had some students from Grenville going to St. George's with vehicles. In fact, he had more students with vehicles than teachers. But today, more than 20% of our teachers go to school with vehicles. And this is good. It means that more and more people have discretionary income. All our financial institutions today in the country, all of them are doing well, including the credit unions. All of them are doing well. And they have savings in the bank and in the credit union more than they want. It means they are very liquid. But all how they are liquid, they do not have confidence in themselves. So they are not sharing that liquidity with the public that wants to develop because of lack of confidence in our people. We have a lot good going for us. Government spend enough. When you compare it with the rest of the Caribbean, the amount government spend on education is well compared with the rest of the Caribbean. Our school buildings today are better than any other time in our history. Our people involved in education is more qualified than any other time in our history. They are paid better than any other time in our history. And the environment that they work in are more conducive than any other time in our history. It is extremely difficult in Grenada to discern, based upon the dress of our children, who is rich and who is poor. When you watch our children in school today, whether it's in Tikolo, Karakou, or Woban, all of them are smartly dressed. You can't tell who father working in the bank and who don't have father. They have their uniform, they have their bags on their back, they have socks and shoes, and they have money for snacks. This is development. I always ask the enemies of doom and gloom, when they say Grenada has not made any improvement over the years, what they consider as improvement. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good
Yes, Color,
afternoon.
welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, the social event that the St. George Northwest Party Group, NFP Party Group, scheduled to have Saturday coming the 8th of October. It is officially postponed to a later date to be announced in November. So, if passing the information to the people of St. George Northwest and to the public in general, that social event is postponed to a later date to be announced in November. Yeah, Mr. Pierre. You know, I know in school the educators taught us that to achieve mean you plan to do something, and while you plan, you succeed in doing it. You finish doing it. So I could say that okay, like let's say like electrifying the rural area. That was something the plan, and and the the federal government NMP and they achieve it. So that's an achievement. You have the electrifying of of water, bringing pipe and water to every home. That's an achievement. You have the national stadium, the football stadium, and the athletic stadium. That's an achievement. Achievement. The ministerial, the, the ministerial complex. That's an achievement. The bus tunnel. That's an achievement. So the meaning of achievement is to plan something, and what you plan to do, you end up doing it. So when I hear the government talk about what they achieve, they think that they plan some things they want to achieve, but you don't achieve it. So if you plan something, you call it that is in the pipeline to happen, right? So I know achievement don't change. So I want to say to the educators who taught children at school, let them maintain the same meaning of the word achievement. If you plan something and you don't do it yet, it's not an achievement. It's something that you plan to do, and when you plan it and you do it, that's an achievement. So try. I don't want them to mislead the young people. You tell young people the truth, and I always when you tell young people the truth, that'll make you a better person in society. Because when you tell them something and then they come and use a next term as achievement, I feel that is wrong. So Mr. Pay, have a blessing.
Thank you, Color. And I think that is important too. You see, it is important for us to let our children know that Grenada have greener pastures. You don't have to go to Trinidad. You don't have to go to the United States of America just because you're searching for greener pastures. There are a lot of opportunities in Grenada, and the infrastructure in Grenada is better than a lot of countries. And don't bother with the naysayers. And when people say to you that we have not achieved anything since 1985 or post the revolution, ask them what they would like to see in Grenada. I like to say to them, give me 5 things you would like to see in Grenada. Punch. And they grenade and they talk, they mumbling, they grumbling because they're not speaking the truth. When your children hear you sounding so negative and claiming that Grenada have not achieved anything, your children lack confidence in themselves. And they believe they have to go to other country to succeed. Grenada have one of the best social safety net program in the region. I hope this government don't unravel that safety net program. The government have a bad habit, Every time the NDC come in power, they go after the social safety net program. Every time. And when I say that, I know it's a strong statement, so I'm waiting to be challenged by NDC, the union, any businessman, NNP. Anytime NDC come into power, they go after the social safety net program. It took place when they had the homegrown structural adjustment program. That same thing happened in 2008. And now, some of the people that are affected most by the political victimization program are people in the lower socioeconomic strata. When these people are not working, the rippling effect on the ground is greater because they are less competitive on the market. So the people from Carriacou you fire, it is more difficult for the people from Carriacou to get a job in Carriacou rather than the people in Grenada. It is easier for a number of people in Grenada to pick up a job. Some of the people from Carriacou will have to come down to Grenada to get a job. And then a man come down, and then you meet a Grenadian girl down here, and then you have greater challenge to the family structure. That is why my friend in St. Patrick's is worried that your boyfriend in St. Andrews will go in Trinidad when they fire them on the ground. And that affects the social safety net program. It is important that we teach our children to have confidence in themselves and make them understand Grenada have it, irrespective of the negatives you hear. And we must start taking on the messages of doom and gloom. We have the enemies of hate, you know. Like every progressive thing that happened in Grenada, they fight against it. They fought against independence in Grenada, you know. We got independence with brimstone and fire. They're fighting against it. They say Grenada too small to be an independent country. They fought against land for the landless program. Even the people in agriculture, the University of the West Indies, a number of people advanced that segmenting lands would affect agriculture adversely. And yes, they have a point. Because cocoa is an estate crop. So more you segment the cocoa fields, lower productivity you have. But they never look at the advantage of it, you know. A simple thing like Progress Park, when it was building, you would not imagine the opposition that came into Progress Park. St. George's University, they fight it tooth and nail. In Parliament, the opposition then said they would not be even able to practice in Pity Market. Look at St. George's University today. Some people don't have vision because they don't have confidence in themselves. They doubt themselves. That is why you hear Grenadians saying, we have not achieved nothing since 1985. We cannot stay silent. We have to tell them what we have achieved. If we don't, our young people would not have confidence in themselves, and they will believe that the answer for their development is in alien lands. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Pierre. Pierre.
Go right ahead.
You are going on. Them small business complaining now, man.
The small business complaining.
Yeah, the small business complaining. It's the thing not going good. River Sally, Rosie, the whole place all about. They complaining, man. Say business going dead. So what going on? All right, later.
Yes, one of the challenges we have again, we're too easy to panic. You see, people have to understand that and that's why I'm making this point. We have what it takes. Sometimes when the going get tough, the tough get going. Life sometimes is like climbing Mount St. Catherine. When you reach on the top, I don't know how many of you listening to me have ever been to Mount St. Catherine. But when you reach on the top, you see Paul's airport very clear and you watch down. You eat the food you have, you throw your garbage on Mount St. Catherine sometime and you're ready to come down. The biggest challenge is climbing the hill, and so life is. The worst thing that could happen to a country is panic, phobia, unsettling the people in the lower socioeconomic strata. Yes, caller, welcome.
Punch, Mr. Pierre. Good afternoon.
Yes,
how you doing?
Great. Man.
Mr. Pierre, do you aware of any changes in the ministry, like Pierre? They have been recent changes there.
Yes, I think they have some changes there.
You are aware of it? I don't too sure, but
Well, I don't really bother much about changes with PS because when a new government come, there would be changes with PS. Because take for instance, government might come and determine I want to work with this PS or I want to work with that PS, and then the Prime Minister would let them have the PS that they want. So particularly you have 9 people coming in who never was in that position before. They would have PSs that they would prefer to work with. And it's the best thing for the government to do is to give them the PS that they want to work with.
For instance, Carla was in PS in education. That's just after the election. But I think it's now Elvis Morin, I think, is there?
But Elvis Morin was in education before.
Yeah, he was.
And then he worked in agriculture.
Yeah,
and then he also, while he was PS, he was responsible, I think, for the election.
But I think he's a very good educator.
All the PSCs are good. All the PSCs are very qualified.
Yeah, talking about Elvis Morin. He was principal also of the J.W. Fletcher School up there in Actual Avenue.
Yeah.
And then he mastered in education, you know. So I was surprised he got that position. And I think Scholar is now back in ICT.
Well, that might be a good thing too.
Yeah.
You see, these are the positions when a government comes, they have to transfer people. And the Constitution provides for that. Right. Not rank and file.
Right.
And a permanent secretary serves as an insulator.
Yeah.
You know, an insulator between politicians and the public officers.
Yeah, he play a major role.
So a permanent secretary is supposed to tell a public officer, don't do that. You don't openly flaunt political parties. And they're supposed to discipline them.
Yeah, but they have a lot of power,
They have immense power.
Yeah.
And the problem when we have, and the permanent secretary is supposed to tell the politician, you cannot victimize that worker. But what the problem is, when the permanent secretary themselves openly flaunts political parties.
Yeah.
That's the challenge we have here.
They have been victimized as well.
But permanent secretary not victimized.
Some of them.
They're not victimized.
Some of them.
They know they are not victimized.
When you take somebody and put on a chain without a computer and just a desk, a clock.
This is a term that is being used to say that the person don't have as much work as they used to have before.
Yeah.
But the law provides for a permanent secretary to be transferred to a place of equal status.
Yeah.
And if the permanent secretary, if that individual is not satisfied that they are transferred for a place of equal status, they take the matter to court.
Public service.
Yes. So you don't have to worry about them. They are well protected.
So I don't think politicians should victimize those people, as you say.
Politician does not victimize permanent secretaries. And if the politician and if the permanent secretary feel victimized, there is a recourse. So Gemma Bain Thomas felt that she was victimized because she was the cabinet secretary.
Yeah.
And there's only one cabinet in Grenada. So if the government did not want her to be the cabinet secretary, they would have put her in a post as a permanent secretary. And if she felt that she went to the court and the court agreed with her.
I was somebody young man that was in education before, Kevin Handel. I hope he get a position.
What position he was in? Was he a permanent secretary?
Yeah, he was a PS in education.
Then if he was a PS in education, they would have transferred him to a PS post.
I think
and this is not victimization. And sometimes we get it wrong in the public, and these people give the impression because they're politically warped. I don't have no sympathy for them because they help to contaminate the public service. And they give the people the impression that I'm victimized because they're playing political games.
And it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't. They are the ones to do it. When you reach the post of permanent secretary, you could be transferred anywhere, including Carriacou. And you must go with joy. You must grow with a plant you. These are the people that giving the general public the impression that they are victimized.
So, Mr. Pierre,
Yes,
I have to run. But two things I want to mention quickly. There's a road in Grenada going on the hill where they cut all the trees below there. I think they need to extend the railing there because it's looking very dangerous going on Grenada. They need to put a railing there, like continue with the rail to avoid vehicle from going down in that ditch because it's scary when you're coming up and driving, go down and you look over as a driver there. Panic could cause you to go down there.
Okay. Drivers have to understand that the road in Grenada, you're supposed to drive 35 miles an hour. What the police have to do is to charge more drivers and make money for the coffers. Charge the drivers for reckless driving. Grenada is a shorter road, but it's also a dangerous road. So people have to drive within the speed limit, and they offer you 35 miles to drive. And that doesn't mean you won't have accident if you're driving within the speed limit, but it would be less, there will be less likely. And one of the problems we have, I think, was in 2017 or 16. The police said a lot of the accident we have in Grenada is because of ill discipline and disrespect. Drivers are not respectful. I think the time has come when we should start to give points. And if you reach 10 points, they don't take your license, but they give you 1 year to go and take a course. So since you reach 8 points, the police advise you go and take a driving course. And they have a course that you have to pay for. And the police must make sure they make profit from it. And the course must be in personal development, management, and give you an opportunity to do community development in homes and to look at videos of accident and crash and the impacts. And when you finish with that course, they give you a certificate and they wipe your slate clean. So if you did not take it after the police warn you, then they take your license at 10 points. But at 8 points, the police will warn you. You should take the course. I think we have to do more to get our people to have manners, to be respectful, and to recognize this country is a little heaven. If you don't go in heaven, you don't have to worry, you live in Grenada. We have to remind people that. And this country is well poised for takeoff. There's a number of people now who will be panicking because they would feel they would lose their job. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good
Yes,
evening.
my brother, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, based on the cost of living, man. What? Because one thing got a bunch of people who are balling and say when they swap buy two little bag of groceries, you know, they buy one bag of groceries and it costs the same money. I don't know, but some that do some do that, man. That's more do some do that. You know, pen a cool, the cheapest thing fast food children $3 now. That man, that do something, man. That inflation really go killing people, right? That I ever see, right? What big was the quote back and something I remain the same. The quote back and said I was a big nut. The big pack and nut is what you call big nut. Nine on big nut again, a small nut, you know. I used to, when I used to that big nut, I used to wrap the plastic and get two tie. You can't even get one tie. So all this in the court back on the size of them thing and a lot of them put up and people check on the can. You see they closing in the waist of some of them things, stuff like the oil and thing, and you go feel well, they say that for a better grip. But when for our old bottle, pour it out and you see you're in less. So the court back on all the size of thing and the price increase by far. There is something, they must have do something with this thing, man. So take them up here.
Yes, you're going to find a number of factors that contributing to the high cost of living. One of them is the war in Europe. And that war in Europe seems that it's going to reach to the point where we're staring nuclear war down the barrel. Because the situation is deteriorating. 8 months into a war, Russia back is against the wall. The people from Ukraine is fighting for the country. They don't want to be enslaved by Russia. They remember the Holodomor. In addition to that, I think it was in 94, 95 or what, they give up the nuclear weapon for peace. And now Russia, unprovoked, is attacking and massacring the people. So that is going to help the cost of living to go up because Ukraine is a big producer of grain in the world. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Pierre, how you doing?
Great, man.
Listen, Mr. Pierre, one of the problems Grenada been educated on.
I'm not hearing you very clear. I'm not hearing you very clear. I'm not hearing you very clear. Either put the telephone closer to you or something. Try again. Yeah.
Yeah, me better.
Go ahead.
I'll call you back.
Yeah, please do. Yes. So this another problem that causing increased cost of living is our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is going to cause increased cost of living. We have to be wiser in how we consume things and what we do. A number of factors is contributing government's action, plus there are some actions that is beyond government control, and some government don't have enough balls to point out certain issues to the public. The price of sugar has risen. Used to be $1.60 a pound, now it is $1.75, $2.00, and you're struggling to get sugar. So some of the people want to bring sugar from Trinidad away, where they get it. So your milk and a number of factors gone up. In addition to that, remember, the government removed the fees on non-fuel charge in electricity. So I'm not saying whether it is wrong or right. That is a government policy. And I'm not challenging the government policy. But I'm saying these things are going to contribute because when electricity go up, a number of factors are going to go up. The businessmen, the supermarkets going to pay more electricity. It means you're going to cut down on the profit so they may raise the cost of goods that do not have price control. You have some goods, there's no VAT on it. You have goods that have price control, but you have goods in the shop that don't have price control. Remember, mostly all the snacks we consume, we import it. In yesteryear, our children used to suck more fruits, mango, soursop, pomrose, etc. Cass. Man, we used to eat almost everything outside. Nowadays, the children don't have any taste for the local foods because we feed our children too early with snacks. I always challenge people. When your kid is about 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, they eat everything you bring. Tomatoes, carrot, damsel, tamarind. You like how your child ravishing it. As soon as you introduce your child to snacks, the child loses the taste for damsel, cherry, tamarind, ripe fig, mango. More snacks you give your child, less they eat natural foods. These are serious issues. Even the farmers, the biggest fun others have is when I go in a restaurant and I watch a farmer on the side of me ears eating macaroni pie, rice, macaroni pie. If you see the farmer plate, he's not going in the restaurant and ask for fig and blogger and yam pie and callaloo and beet. He don't want that. He want rice, he want chicken, he want macaroni pie. The farmer doing that, the same farmer that complaining he cannot sell his products in the land, the farmer going in the restaurant and he don't want nothing he produce in the land. Caller, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah.
How are you this morning? You good?
Yes, man, great.
But I hear your voice going loud, man.
Yeah, you have to speak a little louder for us. What's here?
Let me ask you something now. What grade you give the NDC for you 100 days?
I give the NDC a 5.
5.
Yeah, I give them a 5. There's a pretty young group And I want to encourage them.
I believe it's a hypocrite. I will give them a 10. Listen now, these people are not they people are 79 policemen, 200 nurses, 400 new teachers, and you give them a 9.
What they employ?
Nurses and teachers and policemen and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So you still give them a 5?
Yeah, I give the NDC a 5. And I have no objection in you giving them 9. 10. I have no objection in you giving them 10, but I give them 5. And I could tell you why I give them 5. Okay? Yes. The caller gave the NDC a 10 because he said they employ 79 police. What, 200 nurses? I don't know how much nurses he said, but he made it. But I giving the NDC a 5 is because it is the first time in a long time a government going poor and meet the treasury pregnant. It is the first time post-84 that a government come in power and incorporate political victimization in the policy. Political victimization is a devastating thing for any small communities to do. What it does, it unravels the social fabric of our society. The National Democratic Congress came into power, and the first expression by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he said common decency would dictate that all the people in the foreign affairs should immediately leave the post. I've never heard that in my life. This is the most politically undiplomatic statement I've heard. The word he had to use was the people in the foreign mission would be recalled. That is why a number of ministers in the foreign mission resign immediately. And you leave a vacuum. And then you learn that it might take 6 months to do because you have to bring them back. Now, the National Democratic Congress came to power and they met a template that was the admiration of the rest of the Caribbean. Government had press conferences after every cabinet meeting. Ministers was interacting with the public at leave, practically at leave. The government say information will be on need-to-know basis. We have an attorney general that doesn't seem to make the transformation from political campaign and from the fact that she's an authentic tongue girl to recognize now she's the attorney general and the minister of labor. I give them a 5. I believe it's a group of young people, they're not certain yet what they mean by transformation. When I saw what they put out as being the transformation, 14 of the things that they call in transformation is really continuation. I see nothing dramatic. So I give them a 5. I give them a chance to get their act together. And I believe there is hope. And I want to see we country stable and etc. As soon as the government come, the government is preoccupied with themselves. So they get economic and political shock by the time they get the first pay. Most of these individuals are public officers. So they should know what are the remuneration, what comes to a politician. So I couldn't believe that they had political shock when they realized the pay that the ministers was getting before. And they decided they can't work for that money. So they raised the traveling by $22,000. Now you see this excuse, this subterfuge, this distraction. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Well, I love what you say. But I never condemn the present Prime Minister because I say I give him a little break. but I'm in politics 48 years now. And no way the NDC could handle me under political, because I have the experience from 1967 to now. And I
remember when the revolution you run?
I did run.
If you stay, you'd go in jail.
My brother make jail for me.
Your brother don't make the jail for you. You run. They don't catch you, so they hold your brother.
I run.
They might have jail you and jail your brother. But you run,
My
so they
brother
take your brother.
Run away and he get away. But I am saying now that this government should speak to me on experience.
They don't have to. Let me tell you why. The present government doesn't seem to be listening to even the old NDC. They would not listen to you.
Okay.
And it would be unwise to even contemplate that they would listen to you. The National Democratic Congress doesn't listen to people. Every time they come in power, they go after the marginalized in the country. They unravel the social fabric of the society. They did that when we had the homegrown social program. Who were the ones fired? In 2008, who were the ones most affected? No. Who are the ones most affected? The individuals, some who are working for $12 to under $2,000, low-rank workers. Who are the ones affected? The road workers, 5 years. The intention is to get rid of them. So irrespective of how much years you have, that makes no point with the National Democratic Congress. In fact, they will drag you in the street if they get a chance. You as an old political stalwart in the area, if they get a chance, they will drag you in the street. Some of their supporters on social media, they practically advocating that. So, caller, you could sit down and pray for them and wish them well.
Well, I'm sorry for them because
you don't have to sorry for them, pray for them.
48 years, and the way they disrespect me,
caller,
I'm going to deal
caller. It is part of the tradition that we pray for our leaders, that we pray for the prime minister, that we pray for the ministers and leave judgment to God. And as somebody in the politics very long, that is what you need to do. Pray for them.
Tell me the prime minister have some people
making
him up.
Caller,
mean well.
caller.
I will
Don't
deal with that.
caller.
I will deal with it. Not today. I will deal with it.
All right, caller. Thank you. That is some of the challenges we have when we start to unravel the social fabric of our society. The sister that called spoke to me, and she only spoke to me because her boyfriend said to her a statement that I've made. That's the only reason. He didn't agree with me because he said the government said they're going to be able to go to the bank to get a loan if they get permanent job. And he heard me saying to a group of guys in the shop, the bank don't want to see you. If you're working for $1,200, you have 3, 4, 5 children, the bank don't want to see you. Neither the credit union. They don't want to see you. If you put your money in the bank taking out your money every month. You have to pay the bank to put your money there. So the government is misleading you, you're wrong. So now the barrel of the gun is facing him because he's starting to lose his job on the road. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Pierre.
Yes, my caller, welcome.
Right. I don't have a clear understanding.
I can't hear you. You're low.
I don't have a clear understanding as to what is a political appointment. And I say that in the background that I heard Miss Claudette last night said with
Callister, that the gentleman, one of the person that was fired in Carriacou, was leaving his work and go and drive taxi. Well, I don't see how somebody could be working in a full time and going and drive taxi. And if that happened, if that is true, the gentleman was leaving his job and go and drive taxi, he's definitely worthwhile fine.
Caller, you are wrong the union wrong. There is something called natural justice. If a man is doing a job and is leaving it the job and go, then you give him a fair trial.
Yeah.
Caller,
I'm not doubting.
And the Attorney General is a lawyer. And the fact she's Minister of Labor and she come in on the air and say these things, she could only say that because she know the union is silent. In the days when we had union leaders that had balls and guts, she would already be trembling forward.
I understand that. What the point I'm making there.
So we don't give her words no support.
No, I'm saying if that is so, then this person needs to be fired.
Then that is her version of it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So this man,
I cannot see a gentleman walking through time.
This man need a fair trial. He can be judge, juror, and executioner.
I accept that. I did not. That's why I say I don't support it. I don't see it because I do expect a gentleman who is working full time to leave and go and drive taxi. But I am not supporting what she said. I'm only making a statement.
Well, we practically given this sister is wrong. She's wrong, and she's an attorney general. It's the same sister that say, by and large, it's only the greedy and needy that support NNP.
Yes,
the same individual. She seems so bitter with hate and lack moral virtue, moral political virtue. That how these utterances could come from a liar.
I accept this point that things like that have to be tested first because the union would well,
the government paid the union maybe to shut them out.
Yes, I won't say that. But
well, you're not saying that, but that is what it seems.
I'm talking about when they talk political appointment. If a minister calls somebody to have a job, and the person
you're wrong, union wrong. Let us ask. We have to start to ask. Anytime we have an opportunity, ask the minister to tell us what are political jobs. People cannot be paying union dues, and you say you have political jobs. The union tricking these people and taking their money under false pretense.
You actually saying the same thing I'm saying. For instance, I am saying, if a man is a policeman, a doctor, a lawyer, working with government, when the person, when an individual goes to that person, an extension officer, you don't have to find out what political aspirant they're under. So the person have to perform jobs into everybody. So I don't know how you assess a man to be a political. If he puts on a jersey and he goes to work and he marks, I am an NMP, and he's choosing people to work with, I will say that's a political biased person. But I have never seen or known of anybody in the public service that put on any party colors, go to work, and refuse to attend to Tom, Dick, and Harry.
What's about this Calypsonian that was on the stage asking for Kit Mitchell head?
So that's the grounds in which I'm saying that I cannot see how you assess a political person.
It's only sad that I hope that the president of the public workers, the president of the Technical Allied Workers Union, President General, and the union representative in the Senate, I do hope that he at some stage, when he recover from his slumber, when he wake up, that he asks the government to let us have what are political jobs in the country, and let us start to encourage people who are in the public service, whether the public service per se or the parallel public service, do not openly flaunt political parties.
I mean, I could understand a man is not appointed in his job and he's working on a contract, and when our next government coming forward, they can release your contract. I have no problems with those things. I have absolutely no problem. I have a problem with just identifying people and call them a party person because an extension officer, when he goes to your field, he don't concern about whether you are NMP, NDC or whatever. A doctor, when he comes to attend, he don't concern about whether you are NMP, NDC. When you go to the shopkeeper doesn't concern about whether you are NMP, NDC. So I don't understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In my opinion, the Ministry of Mobilization will be considered as a Ministry of Victimization. The Ministry of Mobilization, because they go right back to the revolution. And that is what this ministry is all about. To propagate the NDC, to identify people who are green. And what this government doing is to incorporate political victimization in its policies. And my greatest concern is the unraveling of the social fabric and the effect it would have in the schoolhouse. As some of the teachers I see on social media, I shudder to think what would happen to NNP children that they teach, particularly those loudmouth NNP. There are some people in the society that the children don't even agree with the politics. The parents jumping up for NNP, the children is NDC. But what is going to happen? They're going to affect people because the National Democratic Congress decide to use political victimization in its policy. And I know that they're gunning for the road workers. And I say to them, this country is beautiful. You don't have to leave this country and go. There will always be challenges. There are opportunities. One individual talked about the businessmen that feel their business getting sluggish. Sometimes you have to put more stock in your business. Sometimes you have to prepare to open your business longer hours. Sometimes you have to be more palatable where your business is concerned, greater consumer service. Sometimes you have to try to provide a wider service. So let us suppose 50 people come in your business every day and the average is spend $40. See what more items they want so they could spend $60. So you may have to put more stock in your business. You might have to bite the bullet and be more pleasant. So in that way, you could weather the storm. Every time there is a crisis, people make money. And even with the NDC victimization program, smart businessmen is going to make money from it. So don't wallow in the misfortune. Now is the time you have to be positive. And members of the NNP politicians must give their members hope and encourage them to take opportunities. Now is the time to show your mettle. If you're a small business and you think business is slow, maybe you have to provide a better service. Maybe you have to open your shop or your business place earlier. Maybe you have to extend the time in the evening. Maybe you have to encourage your children to lime in your business place. Just that alone could help your business place. Because if your own children not coming around there to lime, because when they come, their friends might come. But sometimes they like Tilaita daughter. Just for Tilaita to see she children in town, she said Tilaita to do she here. And Tilaita was willing to go. But the hairdresser want to wash Tilaita hair on Tuesday. Tilaita says she washing she hair on Saturday. And she do cutting she hair. So the daughter feels so embarrassed. She tell me the daughter run down the step with a high heel shoe. And she jump in she car. And she go back town. She leave the $150 get Tilaita. And I gotta meet Tilaita. Because we take a drink and we buy some fish. And I drop her right at your home. Because I know she always have a under the counter right in your house. So sometimes it's like that. Sometimes the children abscond the community. Sometimes the children abscond the parents. and they don't support development. So we are not able to raise the bar on the block. But Grenada is well poised for takeoff. We have all what is necessary. All the little businesses have access to internet. You have access to electricity, telephone, and water. So we must be better business people. We must know it's an opportunity. Even if you lose your job, and most of you, a lot of you would lose it, don't be despondent. There are other opportunities in the country. You know, you could do much better. And I think it's important for people to understand that. The minister is, you're going to hear that from more and more of the ministers. Because I think the purpose the government is initiating the Ministry of Mobilization is to do the dirty work in the ministry. It's not implementation, it's mobilization. Yes, perhaps you need a minister of implementation. You have a number of projects, and then you might have projects that are slowing down for no genuine purpose. And you need somebody like an expediter to find out why these projects are not moving at pace. But mobilization more seems to be a party machinery to fight the opposition and to propagate. And when I compare it with what went on in the revolution, I think it's more a ministry of victimization. I don't know why they give Andy. Maybe it's to disguise the intention. They should give Claudia Joseph or Tevin Andrew or the gentleman or Andal from St. Patrick's. Because these people are so angry. They're so vexed. They're so bitter. And they seem so vindictive. But maybe they must put Andy to disguise the intention. If they had put these other ministers, the public would have said, that is why they do it. So maybe Andy come as a subterfuge. He's there to disguise the true intention of the Ministry of Mobilization. And it's very important during this time that we don't wallow in sorrow. Individuals who loses your job, there are greener pastures in Grenada. You do not have to go away. Particularly the men. You don't have to jump ship. This is what happened in the revolution. Over about 4,000 Grenadians, we don't have the exact number, left Grenada during the revolution. About 3,000 go in jail. But individuals left and bail out for Trinidad. So individuals must understand that Grenada have a lot of opportunities. Whether you're working with government or not, there are opportunities here in the construction industry, in agriculture, in the business sector. Once you're a good worker, have no fear. Even if you lose your job, there are other opportunities here. And men must be supportive of their women. You cannot walk out on your woman with child and go. It will be worse for her. Because if you leave your women here or your woman here with 2 or 3 children, going away and sending money for her is a joke. It's better you stay here and give her the kind of support and help your children to do well in school. You don't want a recurring decimal of failure. The school system, your child could get a good opportunity and they could do well in school. Because our schools are well equipped, our teachers are well trained, and we have all what it is necessary for our children to succeed. We only need parents that is hungry for education. We always encourage you to like our program. It's important that you touch the like button and share our program so that more of the people who perhaps are less fortunate or fall in the lower economic strata going to hear our program. We always try to reach them. So like our program and share our program, and thank you very much for participating with us today And tomorrow we're back with you, and you have another opportunity to punch.
Though great and diverse be our ethnicities, the bonds that unite us are stronger than these. We dine, we pray, we love, we dance and we play, but we relate to each other, the rest in Yahweh. Today as a people united as one, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon, the future now firmly in